All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 4 of the Nuff Said podcast. Nuff Said is a weekly Patreon-only podcast segment discussing current events with a common sense American Christian unfiltered perspective. I am your host, Chad Wright, and before we dig into this, I'm going to give you guys a little lesson. Since I am here doing this podcast, and you've taken the time to listen to this podcast and spend this time with me, I'm going to start this episode off with a warning or a lesson or some common sense stuff, because that's what Nuff Said podcast is all about. I got a really, I don't know if you call it mean message or I got an email this week from a 3 of 7 podcast listener that was very upset with one of the episodes that we did on the 3 of 7 podcast. The episode, I think, was titled Train Like You Fight, which I thought was a pretty good podcast episode. It had some value in there. It had some funny stories. It had some conversation, which is what I like to do on a podcast. I like to sit down with my buddies and my team members and talk about what's going on and tell some stories and get some laughs in and then share something of value, right? But there's no set format. There's no wickets that I absolutely have to hit on every episode. Well, this person sent me a long and detailed email about the 3 of 7 podcast episode, talking about how mad and upset he was about the content of that episode, and it just wasn't good enough for him, right? And he just really went on and on. And, anytime someone sends me feedback, look, man, I'm open to feedback, all right? I'm totally open to it. But here's the thing. Here's the caveat to that. I'm open to feedback from people who are invested, from people who maybe I have some rapport with. I'm open to feedback from people who I know aren't freaking insane. And I got to thinking about this cat. And I've listened to podcasts all my life. I've been listening to podcasts for quite a few years now because I love podcasting. It's probably my favorite form of media to consume. Okay, I just like the realness of it. I like that there are so many different types and all this good stuff, right? And so I thought, I've got some shows that I like, I enjoy, that I've listened to for a long time. And when those hosts of those shows, when they put out a show that maybe it doesn't quite fit what I'm wanting to hear that day or kind of what I'm looking for that day, what do? I say, oh, well, that's cool, man. They had something else on their mind. They were in whatever mood they were in. I'm just going to not listen to this one, right? I have never, ever listened to a podcast episode that somebody, by the way, is putting out for free, and I have never gotten so upset about the content of the episode that I took however much time out of my day to make sure I reached out to that podcast host and email them and tell them that I am mad and upset about a single episode that they put out. I've never done that, really. And so I'm thinking a person that would do that doesn't know me, I don't know them, this person is obviously in a different state of mind than I am in. Now, here's the warning. Here is the lesson. Especially important here on Nuff Said podcast. If you put all of your faith in me, you will be let down. If you put all of your faith in some mentor that you have, you will be let down. If you put your faith in your business leader, your whoever leads you, or if you put your faith in, here's the thing, if you put your faith your complete faith and you're just bought in to any human being on earth, you will be let down at some point, okay? Because we are fallible humans, and I am a person, okay? I am a fallible human being. Not everything that I'm going to say is going to sit well with you. Not everything that you say is going to sit well with me. Not everything that my mentors in my life are going to say and advice they're going to give, it's not all going to sit well with me. It's not, a lot of it's probably just going to be completely wrong. It's opinionated. We're humans. We have opinions. Our perspective is shaped uniquely by our experiences in life. And when you are just so bought in to somebody, you are setting yourself up for failure. Do not do that. We should listen, we should talk, we should communicate, we should share opinions, share perspectives. We should do all of that, right? But everything that we hear from one another, we should assess that and we should take it with a grain of salt, man. Okay? Look, you better not put your faith in anything in this life, not money, not people, not purpose. You better not put your faith in anything during this pilgrimage except for the eternal God, whom is never changing. He's the same today. He was the same yesterday. He was the same since literally the very beginning of the creation of this universe. He will be the same tomorrow. He will be the same 1,000 years from now. He is the same eternally. He never changes. Okay? If you put your faith in anything other than the eternal God, you are going to wind up upset, let down, mad, pissed off, and that's a bad place to be. So I'm giving my quarterly warning. Yet again, I think I already gave it once this quarter. I'm giving my quarterly warning. I do the best I can with who I am, the perspective that I have on this life, and the experiences that I've had that have shaped my perspective. And likewise, everyone that you run into in this life is doing the exact same thing. So this person that sent this email, this is the root of the problem. This is why this individual took the time to do that. It's because, excuse me, getting a little too fired up right off the bat here. It's because he's literally put too much faith in my ability to, I don't know, uplift, feed, nourish, help shape his or her perspective, okay? That's wrong, okay? Now, I'm all open to feedback, but again, because some of us live a public life, we can't take feedback from 1,000 different directions from people that have absolutely zero rapport. Now, you guys here on Patreon, you are bought in. You are bought in. I have trained and spent time in person, in the wilderness, training, suffering, working hard with the majority of you guys here on Patreon, which is why I value your opinion. So I'm not saying here, never give me your opinion or don't give me your perspective on the things that we are doing in 3 of 7 Project, the things that we talk about on Nuff Said, the things that we talk about on 3 of 7 Podcast. I welcome those things if I know you and you have some rapport with me, okay? But if you don't, I'm probably not going to listen to you. And ultimately, the root of this is no matter what, do not put your faith in carnal things and fallible people. You will be let down. Okay, there's your lesson right off the bat on Nuff Said Podcast. we're supposed to look at current events here on the Nuff Said podcast, all right? So I just had to throw that in there because I think somebody might have needed to hear that, but maybe I'm way off, okay? But we're talking about current events here. We're going to talk about some interesting things here today. Look, man, this is going to be a lot. These two topics that we're going to talk about today are going to revolve, both of them actually, around the military. The old military. There were two headlines, two topics this week that really caught my attention because they pertain to our service members, okay? Our military members. So we're going to dig right into that. I found a magical way to play audio from my laptop through this podcasting machine so that you guys can hear it. All right. So I'm going to try that today. And one of these topics, there's a video attached to it. Actually, both of them, there's a video attached to it. So I'll play little snippets of that, and then I'll give you my perspective on what's being said. So instead of me reading the article to you, if there's ever a video available that basically recaps the actual article that we're looking at or the topic that we're looking at, I might play through that and just pause it and give you what I think about it. The first topic that we're going to talk about today, now we're going to talk about old Corn Pop real quick. All right, we're going to talk about old Corn.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys.
If you haven't seen that freaking video, man,